everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. I have to say, I really chose the wrong time of day to film because for those of you who don't remember, my apartment is literally like right off of the freeway, so I have like all of the traffic in front of this window that I film in front of, and I can't wait to move. Anyways, today I am bringing you my August TBR. A little bit late in the month to be posting it, but whatever. I originally was like, I don't have an August TBR, but then I had actually just filmed my very chatty series update, and I'm going to be posting that video after this one goes up. So they'll be kind of out of order, but I realized while I was doing that chatty series update, oh, you do actually have an August TBR. Like, you do have a TBR that you're working off of. So I thought I'd share it with you all. So let's get started. I am planning on, if I can do it, reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I can do it, I'm planning on reading 6 books this month, which is crazy because my only goal for reading this year was to read 12 books in total. That's because if you haven't seen my big like book haul that I posted, I had a baby. So I was like, if you can just get 1 book per month, that would be winning. And I was able to meet that goal already. So now that we're in August and I'm already past the 12 book mark, I'm like, all right, let's just keep going. So it's kind of funny that I'm like, 6 books in 1 month. You can do that. Well, let's see. All right, so the first one is Wrath, written by John Gwynne. Wow. Oh my gosh. So this is the 4th and final book of the Faithful and the Fallen series, and I have been working on this series for a very long time. Now, I explain in my very chatty series update that this series has suffered from being one of those book series that has been on my shelf for way too long. There has been way too long between books that I was forgetting things, that I feel like my enjoyment was dampened by the fact that I didn't just get back to them back to back to back. But I'm having a really good time with this because I am currently reading this one. I'm very close to the end. I've actually been listening to this on audiobook, and it's been helping me out a lot. I will say that as a new parent, audiobooks have been working for me. So that's been helping me out a lot with this one. And I found that I'm not getting as lost with the characters as much as I was when I was reading it. There's a lot of characters in this whole series, and that was my biggest complaint when I was reading Valor and Ruin. But turns out, not an issue when I'm listening to it. So like I said, this is the 4th and final book of the Faithful and the Fallen series. This whole series takes place in this place called the Banished Lands, where there was a god war that happened many years ago between these angelic creatures called the Ben Elam and this demonic race of creatures called the Kadashim. So their battle has been taking place in like this other world. But on the actual physical plane of the Banished Lands, there was an old race of giants that was overthrown, giving rise to the power of men. Now, in the first book, signs of the giants' return has been like popping up here and there, and signs of a second coming of the God War has been popping up as well. That's how we started. Of course, now we're in book 4, and there's a lot going on, a lot of characters to follow, and I'm very excited to finally be able to wrap this book up and have this series wrapped up as well. So the next book that I would like to tackle on audiobook, this is The Broken Eye by Brent Weeks. This is book number 3 of the Lightbringer series. This has been a book series that has been on my shelf for a very long time, and it's been on my TBR for a very long time, and I just want to get it off. I want to finish series. So while I had started looking for more audiobooks to listen to, because that's been working for me, I did have the second book, The Blinding Knife, in my Audible library. I've had the second book on my shelf for a long time, so I was like, all right, let's work on this series now too. So now this will be book 3, and I'll be able to continue on. This is like smack dab in the middle of the series, so I think a lot's going to happen. It's also very, very thick. It's the biggest book in the series as far as I can tell as well. So this is a world where color magic is the main form of the magical system, where people are able to draft colors. So some people have the power to wield one, some people have the power to wield more, and then there's one character who is called the Prism. They're able to wield all of the colors and the different types of magical powers associated with each color. We've also had what we called the Prism's War before the start of the first book, and that's where this is like the main conflict comes from, is the two different sides of the Prism's War, and we're living in this post-war age, but how are people dealing with the magic? How are people living with the consequences of the outcome of the war, etc. Book number 3, The Broken Eye, this will be my next pickup on audio. I've been able to listen to all these books on 1.5 speed. I'm not quite up to 2 times speed yet. That's a lot for me. I still want to be able to hear everything because I feel like if I went a little too fast, it just wouldn't work. But the next book that I do want to pick up on audio will be Caliban's War, written by James S.A. Corey. This is book number 2 of the Expanse series. So this is my science fiction pick. I don't have that many science fiction books on my shelves anymore, but I have kept this one because I told my brother that I would continue reading this. The Expanse series is, I guess we could call it like the expansion of the human race into the Milky Way galaxy. So we've got humans on Earth, we've got humans on Mars, we've got humans who are living in the asteroid belt. And in book number 1, we followed a team of ice miners. They're mining the ice in the asteroid belt to be able to provide water to the galaxy. And it was like this police procedural where there was a young woman who went missing, and how does that impact the different characters that we have. We have one like curmudgeony old detective, we have our team of ice miners. In the midst of all of this, there is a ship that has contracted a virus, and how does that virus impact all of the players in the book as well. Book number 1 was really great. It's been a while since I've read that one, but I am planning on picking this one up as well. I do have it on audio, just because that's how I listened to the first one on audio, and then back when I purchased that one, I purchased the second one as well. So I feel like I can get to all 3 of these on audio because of how fast I've been listening to everything. The other strategy of mine is like when my son goes to bed, and I'm doing chores of like all his stuff throughout the house, I have my headphones in and I'm listening to the book. So I really do think I can get to all 3 of these books on audio this month. The next book that I'm picking up is the second book of a duology. It's called The Faithless Hawk. It is the second book in the Merciful Crow duology. It's this young adult duology written by Margaret Owens. I picked up The Merciful Crow just kind of on a whim, but The Merciful Crow is this fantasy world that is set in there's a caste system, and the castes are named after various types of birds. So we are ruled by the Phoenix caste, and they have fire magic, as you would expect. There's the peacock caste, there's the hawk caste, there's pigeons, etc. And we go all the way down the line to the very bottom of the caste, which are the crows. The crows themselves do not possess any magic, and they're actually like nomadic. They're really not allowed any type of place within society. They're not allowed to settle. They travel the roads. But they do have a very important role in the society, and that is there is some type of plague, sinner's plague they call it, that the other castes can contract, and the crows are immune to it. So their role within the society is dealing with those who have passed away from the plague and disposing of the bodies. So it was really cool. It was really fun to follow. We meet a young character and her band of crows. We're stuck in this like political royal plot line. Yeah, it was really fun. And so I figured it's a duology. I could finish that up really quickly. So I do plan on finishing The Faithless Hawk this month on my Kindle. And then 2 more books that I do plan on finishing this month if I can like just like get my butt in gear and read physical books. That's the problem. This is End of Watch, written by Stephen King. This is book number 3 of the Bill Hodges trilogy. Book number 1 is Mr. Mercedes. Book number 2 is Finders Keepers. And then this is the 3rd and final book. In the first book, we meet Bill Hodges. He is a retired police detective in the city of Chicago. And he ends up getting involved in this mystery of this villain, we'll call him a villain, named Brady Hartsfield, who ends up killing a bunch of people by running them over in a Mercedes that's not his. And we follow along, you know, the different perspective of Brady, so we do get to see Brady's perspective, and we follow along Bill Hodges' perspective, and they're kind of playing this cat and mouse game in book number 1. Book number 2, we kind of have the Mercedes killings like in our periphery. We do, you know, follow along with Bill Hodges as well, but in End of Watch, book number 3, we do return back to the central characters of like the Brady Hartsfield versus Bill Hodges storyline, and I'm really excited for it. So I feel like this one, or not, I feel like, I know that this one starts branching off into like supernatural aspects, and so I'm kind of intrigued because it's not like he left a lot of breadcrumbs in Mr. Mercedes about anything supernatural. We'll see how it ends up going with this one. So this is End of Watch, written by Stephen King. And then the final book, I'm currently working on this one. This is Heir of Fire, written by Sarah J. Maas. This is book number 3 of the Throne of Glass series. I do talk about this book in my Chatty series update as well. This is a book series that I'm just like not sure. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to continue on with the series, but I do want to give it a chance because I feel like book number 3 is really where the series takes off. Book number 1, I don't feel like is a good setup for this series at all. Book number 1 gives us the story of Selena Sodarthan, who is this assassin, and she's entered into a competition to become the king's assassin. That's not what book 3 is about at all, and I don't even want to get into what book 3 is about because spoilers. So we are officially like in spoiler territory with book number 3. But I feel like now Sarah J. Maas like had a clear picture in her mind of what this story was actually going to be about. I'm not overly attached to it yet, but I am continuing on reading with this series. So this is Heir of Fire. But let me know what you think about my TBR in the comment section below. Let me know what you are reading for the month of August. Follow me on my social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. It's at whatcassread, same as this channel, super easy to find. I'm on Goodreads. That link is listed down below so you can actually see what I have been currently reading. And you know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.